Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I am Tats, and I am solo today, and we will be breaking down last night's win against the Red Sox. The walk-off from Donaldson is fourth of the year. 61 will wait another day. And was Taillon as good as we thought he was? And what is going on with the bullpen as Schmidt continues to struggle? We'll be breaking that all down right here on Pitch Strike Chronicles. Welcome back. I am Tats, and we had one of those games where, first off, we clinched the playoffs. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Nick. And it definitely feels good going into the playoffs. Getting the win against the Red Sox has a little extra spice to it. It's not, the division's not secured, but that's okay. Let's just get there and then seeing how the rest of it falls into place. I still, I had my doubts for a while, as we all did, on where they were going to end up in the standings, but it looks like the division is pretty much almost a lock. Thanks for the all the mornings, Elliot. Morning, Tony. Good morning. I'm gonna try not to screw this up today. So it's. I want to start off with Taillon because he was a guy that he's got the numbers. The ERA is a little high than I would like for a middle rotation guy, but he looked very confident. He had the high pitch count. He had over 100 pitches in 6 innings, but he looked a little more confident on the plate. He knew what he wanted to do. They were able to just kind of lengthen out some at bats on him. And he was working quick. He wasn't overthinking anything. You clinched the playoff spot, got the X. That's all you want. That's the only X that you ever do want. So, sitting in a crane. All right, thank you. But it's one of those with Taillon. You really, you want to have the utmost confidence in him that he's going to give you a quality start every time he goes out. He may have a few that go a little off the rails, but more often than not, you're going to have Taillon on the mound and feel that you have as much of a chance to win as anybody. Stranded on second with Tony Clark. By the way, in Baltimore, there was almost a history British 8.2 inning, 1 inning pitch. Orioles beat Verlander. Anytime Verlander loses is a win for baseball. As well as great as his records are, he comes off so cocky sometimes. And it's when you become an arrogant player, you become you're not as well liked as you think you may be. Same thing with players that we've seen with the Astros. Where a lot of those guys just they're not likable anymore. They rubbed everybody the wrong way, and nobody wants to hear it anymore. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. So you get these guys with these attitudes. If we're being honest, when Taillon pitches and he does well, it's more of a feeling of relief that he did well, not so much feeling like we're definitely going to win. But when you have a quality start and you are able to have that where you know that you're going to be kept in the game's not going to get away from him. It gives you more confidence in the win. Absolutely. That's how I feel about it. And so, the Yankees fought to the end last night. That was really key. Let's even talk about with Donaldson, with the walk-off. That's his 4th walk-off of the year. And he's one of those guys, he's not putting the bat on the ball a lot. He's not the most popular bat in the lineup, but he's been coming through when he does make contact, it is in key spots. So it's hard to really get on him last night in the beginning of the game. He came out with the win. He got us the W. He put us in the postseason, and his first walk off was in the first game when he had to walk off against Boston. So you're starting to see that he's kind of buying into the rivalry a little bit, if you want to go into that narrative. So it's Donaldson's a very tricky. Yeah, Donaldson's getting hot right at the right time. That's all we're asking for. Same thing with Torres. The only one that I really want to see get going is Rizzo. It's putting him in that spot in the lineup. It's not helping right now. I really got. I'd rather see him and Stanton maybe get switched. I know you want to go righty lefty and all the matchups and everything. I get that. That's how baseball is played now. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're putting your best players around Judge, players that they're not gonna want to pitch around. So having Rizzo so early in the lineup may not be the best thing right now. Maybe switch him and Stanton, and give Stanton, as he's heating up, another a hot bat. So we also had Stanton with the 2-run home run. There was a lot going on last night. What looked like in the beginning was a very there wasn't really any offense. The double plays continue to kill the Yankees. It was a big problem last year. We saw at the beginning of this year they were staying away from the double plays. They were getting a little more aggressive on the bases, and it was working. They were staying out of trouble. Last night, they kind of had some ghosts come back and haunt them a little bit with the double play ball. So, that's just, Walker's he's not a pushover. He's not he's not a marquee name, but he's not a bum either. He's also been very good with pitching against with Judge. He's got no hits on him. So, how do you guys feel out of watching? How do you feel about the fact that they keep pitching? He was pitching around Judge all night and didn't want to really give him an at bat. I think it's, if you're in the stands and you're paying top dollar, because of course now that they're chasing the record, that you're paying good money for these tickets to go to these games, only to see the guy getting walked all the time. And yes, that's baseball. There's nothing you can do about that. But everybody's watching these games, especially now that they already clinched. They're only watching for one thing. They're watching to see 61. They're not watching some coward walk them all the time. Have a little pride, like Donald kept saying yesterday. Have some pride and pitch to the guy. No, Rizzo's never been a high average guy. Clutch hitter, you'll need it in the playoffs. Clutch hit. That's all you're asking for is clutch hits. That's how it's going to pull through. Big Blue, what's up, Big Blue? How's everything going? I don't like that. The opposing pitchers are pitching carefully against Judge, but I understand it. Yeah, I think we all do. I don't think anybody can rationally argue you have to pitch to him because he's going for the record. They're taking the time, changing out the baseballs to make sure that they know exactly which one was the home run. So just play the game. If you don't want to pitch to him, just pitch around. Just intentionally walk him then. So you saw that you've seen that a couple times in the last few series, that they're trying to stay away from the middle, because when they're making a mistake, he's making them pay for it. He almost did it last night. I thought it was gone. I think everybody did, but it just didn't happen. So Nick, as a baseball fan, I want to see quality baseball at least to win. Sometimes you have to pitch around good hitters to get it. I get that. I made the joke saying that because of the record, they should ban the intentional walk on Judge. And it was very tongue in cheek. Nobody would ever think that that's something that they would ever do or should do. So it's just been one of those. It's one of the with the intentional walk. It's strategy. We saw the other day. Glaber made them pay for it. So it's trying to keep. Really, thanks everybody for the comments. So it's actually a risk you take, is paying a ticket buy. Absolutely, it's like you could go play. You could be in New York for one day and want to go see your favorite player, be it, albeit Judge or Cole. There's no guarantee that you're going to see those guys in a game. That is the risk you take as a ticket buyer. That goes without saying. The dude is close to that. Like, listen, I'm picking. I get exactly. There's with the pitching around Judge and how to approach pitching to Judge. You have to also look at the strategic part of where they are in the game. So it's the Barry Bonds treatment. That's right, Nick. If I wish we were watching Judge chase 73 so we could erase, but yeah, I know. Side note, the whole thing with this, 73 is the real record. Well, if it's the real record, then put him in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. That's how I was very against doing that for a long time. My mind has changed. I've had time to, put a lot of thought into it. And if you're going to uphold their record and their numbers in your books, then they should be recognized as Hall of Famers. So we have a special guest coming on. So good morning, Donald.
Let's go Yankees.
So we've been talking so far. The comments have been great as always. Pitching around Judge in almost every at bat. So how do you feel with the way they're pitching around Judge? Is it just baseball strategy, or as a fan, is it starting to piss you off?
Well, the first one seemed like a deliberate walk to me. 4 pitches.
Yeah,
I thought that was a joke. After that, I'm not sure, but certainly the first one was a complete joke.
Yeah, the whole thing has just been, we all want to see him hit 61. I think the whole baseball world wants to see him do it because he is a very likable guy. He's easy to root for. He's got determination. He's been consistent all year. He's been consistent through his career when healthy. So everybody wants to root for him. It's what everybody's talking about. You're even starting to hear about it on the mainstream news. They're talking about it. Baseball's back as a headline, and that's only good for the game itself. Hype beast, what should Boone do with the closer role? Home scares the crap out of me these days. Yeah, we don't have a closer right now. We really don't. We have guys that will put in the ninth inning as a situational, but nobody's locked into that job. We're just waiting for, I think John and Susan put it really well yesterday. You're waiting for somebody to say, okay, I'm going to take this job. I can handle it. And we have not seen that yet.
It's closer by committee.
Yeah.
There isn't a closer. I'm thinking either Efros or maybe Severino, depending on if Montas is healthy enough, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm pretty sure Severino will be locked into the starting role. So in that case, then maybe look at Efros. Maybe Zach Britton, since Zach Britton's just been called up, but I think it's going to be situational. But I'm completely with Hypebeast, Jay. Holmes is just a complete walking disaster. He's been a disaster since July. There's not an outing where I think that he's going to get out of it alive. Mets fans totally agree, because he is the most likable guy in the MLB right now. Dude loves playing baseball, and you don't have to be a Yankee fan to see that. Judge always has a smile on his face. Judge is the man.
Yep. But no, the issue with Holmes that we've seen, it takes him usually if they bring him in for the second inning, if he's working more than one, he's usually like we saw last night, he's a lot sharper in the second round. So how do it's hard to manage that or fix that, because it's not like you could have him, having a simulated game in the bullpen and then bring him in. It won't work like that.
Well, I'm loving all these comments, though. Friday is live. This is awesome. This is great. So, what did you think of the game there, Tats?
No, a walk-off win to clinch a playoff spot against Boston. I'll take that 162 times.
How close was Aaron Judge to that home run?
Oh, we were talking. Yeah, we were talking about that. I brought that up briefly. It was the ball. The contact was made, and myself and everybody that I work with, we all were like, "All right, here we go." And it was like, "Oh shit," So it was like, "Oh man, all right, we'll get him tomorrow." But
I mean, I believe that the way it was 113 miles an hour off the bat. And I believe it's the first time that's not cleared the wall at that launch angle of 35 degrees. So that's the first time that that's not cleared the wall. I believe all other metrics of 113 plus 35 and how hard and how far he hit it, that would have been a home run anywhere else. But he just hit it in the farthest part of the ballpark.
Yeah, there was the room. There was something going around on social media, which is not always the most reliable source. That the ball was deadened to prevent the ball from going out because of the broadcasts, which I thought was very thought out rumor, but they're not going to.
Well, Manfred was at the game. Manfred wouldn't have deadened the ball for a game that he's at.
No, because if that ever did come out, that's it. The game is baseball.
Tony's come back, despite Tats getting his team all screwed
me
up.
and Tony have been hanging out all show. All right, we're doing just fine.
Sorry to have left you alone with Tats for 15 minutes, Tony. I hope you're all right, man.
Yeah, hey, sometimes you got to suffer as a sports fan.
That's a good answer.
So weather gets no, the weather in New York wasn't bad yesterday. Nothing out of the ordinary for September. Like I know today, this morning I was sitting, the winds are going to be a little higher today. Unless so it's the weather. Everything changes minute by minute sometimes, but it should be a little windier today. Hopefully, the wind is going out and not in from the stadium. That the ball will carry a lot more. The weather wouldn't be a factor from last night. I don't think so. Are you concerned, Donald, about Clark Schmidt being as inconsistent as he's been?
How's he been inconsistent? He's been really good.
Well, he's had a couple of rough outings lately. He's not as sharp as he was when we were using him as a starter. I don't think he's handling the bullpen role as well as we're thinking.
It was his numbers that were actually higher with him as a starter. His numbers were actually better out of the bullpen.
So you're not concerned about giving up the lead last night to a last place team?
No, man. I mean, it's not any old last place team. I mean, they've got Xander Bogaerts. They got some very good players. So I'm not overly concerned about that. Clark Schmidt's been great all year, man.
No,
have you seen his numbers?
Yeah, but as the season gets on, if you could look those up while I ramble and embarrass myself again. So I don't know how to really explain it completely. But
so Schmidt, you just brought up a random thing. Okay.
Let's see stats. You go in, you have Taillon 6 innings, pitching very well. Pitch count was up. So we knew that he wasn't going to come back out. Okay. You go to Schmidt, you're like, okay, this is the chance to get the bullpen a night off. Just let him pitch the 3 innings, and he couldn't even do that.
Okay, so 3rd of September against Tampa, went 4 1/3 innings, gave up no runs. No, 2 runs. Okay, and then 9th of September, gave up no runs in 3 innings. 2 innings against Tampa, no runs. 2 innings against Boston, no runs. 2 1/3 innings against Milwaukee, 2 runs, and then there was just the 4 runs yesterday. So prior to yesterday, he had 3 outings where he had 0 runs given up in 7 innings, and then
were those
Two outings of
the
just 2
starts?
runs. So no, those are they're just 3 innings. So 2 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings, 1 inning. So they're obviously using him as a kind of
A fill-in, yeah.
stretch reliever kind of a guy. So yeah, his ERA is kind of puffed up from 270 to 346, but still 346. Considering his role as kind of a spot starter slash bulk reliever, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yep. So, 4 feet. Couldn't believe that I got too crazy. Thought I was gone. Even if with Taillon, I like him, but he has some bad starts, and they always come back to my head. Um, the Schmidt is just he doesn't come almost like with Taillon. He's a guy, maybe the perception that he gives is not a, a strict determination of what his numbers are. So, because what we're seeing and what his numbers are don't marry up sometimes. If that makes it, makes my point any worse.
I don't understand what you're talking about. As I say, just prior to this last game, he had an ERA of 270, which is perfect. He is a vicious curveball. So what is it that you don't like to see about him, or what you're not seeing with him?
No, it's not that I don't like. I like Schmidt as a long relief to get the bullpen a night off. I don't know. I'm probably over reading into a rough outing. Because I wanted, I would have rather have seen Taillon just keep going until he had to come out, with the pitch count. But I don't know. I'm so unsettled with the way that this bullpen has been. I don't trust anybody.
No, I don't trust the bullpen at all right now.
Schmidt, and unfortunately, Schmidt's in the bullpen. He's got he's got to be part of the conversation. Can you how much can you really how much can we continue to trust him? So his ERA was 3.02 to start September, and now is 3.46. I would say that's okay, not great. Bunch of tired arms, Miguel. You're right. They are shot. They are shot. That's why we have a closer by committee. That's why we don't know who to go to in what inning and what part of the lineup. It's just a mess. The bullpen's in shambles. And what we have to do is hope that when Britton comes back, he's able to come back with a little fire in him.
It's up in the air.
Yeah, that's all right. Let's have a little fun for a minute. All right. And I want to bring up there's been a lot of talk about if you caught the ball of 62, what would you do with it? Donald, do you have any ideas of what you would do if you caught a ball like that?
Most of me thinks that it's not my achievement, so it's Judge's achievement. So I'd be more than happy to give it back for a minimum price, I guess. Give me a signed ball, meet Aaron Judge, and come to a dollar figure, which is not even the highest it could possibly be. I think you could probably ask for 200,000, but I wouldn't even ask for half of that. I would mostly just try and see if I can score a couple tickets, meet Aaron Judge, get a signed ball, maybe 50, 60 grand, something like that.
I like this one. If I caught it, I'd request Judge consider funding my daughter's college education. Yep. Yeah. Also, Nick, a lot of people feel this way too. For season tickets next year, return for the ball. I actually put a lot of thought into it. All right, and I decided, what? If I'm going to be in a situation as unlucky as I can be most of the time, and I'm like, what? I would just really get a little creative with my request. And I would ask for season tickets for next year, postseason tickets for Judge's tenure as a Yankee. Okay. And if he signs elsewhere this offseason, they have to give me $50K. The Yankees, not Judge. And he would have to sign a contract that he would have a weekly spot on our show.
I wouldn't wish that on him.
Oh, come on. I'm likable. I may be wrong a lot, but I'm likable.
Me, Judge, get a couple of hats, bats, and jerseys. That's pretty
Yeah.
realistic.
That's realistic. We all can have a lot of fun with it as much as we want, but,
That ball is with Tony. Jesus, man. Give it back, bro. Give a ball back. Give Judge his ball back. No, I wouldn't hold a ransom. That's for sure.
yeah, one Zach Temple in baseball is enough. I have Bagwell's 40th career home run, and Astros have wanted it back on several occasions, and I've said no. Wow.
He holds a tough bargain, does our Tony.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring you, next time I gotta buy something. Oh, 400th. Okay.
I was wondering why is 40 400. Well, that's certainly more important.
A lot of people will say, "Oh, I'd ask for this, I'd ask for that." But in the moment, you never know how you're gonna respond.
Why you got an Astros player's ball? I thought you were an Orioles fan.
Maybe it was maybe it was at the Astros Orioles game.
I guess so.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm guessing for Tony. Maybe he can tell us. No, it's a lot of.
Would have been back when the Astros would have been in the other division. Let's see, in the other conference.
Yeah, I think if a fan attempts to capitalize on that ball, I think it brings a lot of problems to that person. It doesn't come with a price. Okay, here we go. All right, Bagwell is my hero, favorite player of all time. Okay, and that's not a bad player to have as your favorite. So
I could think of better.
I didn't say he was a terrible. Not a bad player as your favorite.
Yeah.
You don't hear Bagwell being listed as somebody's favorite, too often. And so, when you catch a ball like that, the narrative that a lot of us have where, it's not, I didn't achieve the home run. Aaron Judge did.
Yeah, that's it.
Whoever may have hit it. You want to have something to commemorate, or some type of compensation or a reward for giving the ball to the guy that it belongs to. There's nothing wrong with that. Extorting them for a ball.
No, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. And I'm not even counting, that doesn't include Tony here. No, because Tony just wouldn't give it back. He's not saying, well, I'll give it back for, he's not going, evil and going, $1 million. If Zach Campbell ever caught that ball, he would never. I don't think he'd be able to walk again. I really don't.
Ty's bringing the fire.
One, he's got to be some kind of stupid to try to pull that stunt at Yankee Stadium. Okay, especially depending on where he's got to sit. All right, and this is something that he's made such a mockery and a joke out of, catching a ball where, he's that special type of stupid and, arrogant that he could be sitting next to somebody that's got a disability or whatever. And he would actually reach over them to catch it just to say he caught it. And I really believe that's what he would do. He would trample anybody, no matter what their condition, age. He would knock over a stroller. And if you're at that level of stupidity, then you don't deserve to even be able to walk around in New York.
I think the fan that catches the ball is a little more to gain returning it gracefully, selflessly, than trying to turn it into a trust fund for your kids. I thought you wanted Judge to cover your college fund, man.
Yeah, right. And college is it ain't cheap, especially if you have multiple kids.
My man, how's it going, brother?
But that is going to wrap things up for us today. Hope everybody does enjoy your weekend. Make sure you tune in on Sunday for the the Upper Deck with Lynn and Chris. You have been watching the Pinstripe
We
Club.
might get 61 tonight, people. Everybody
61.
tune
It
in.
might come tonight. So wear your pinstripes, your pride, and play hard.